Hi, it's Doug. Have you ever been walking like in a park or a forest and you found something that really got your attention? Well, that happened to me recently. I was in a forest and I found this. It's a pine cone. But I'd never seen a pine cone like this before. I was so curious. I had all kinds of questions. So I came home and I got out some of my books that I have about trees. These books were written by scientists who study things like pine trees. Now, sometimes when I have a question, I find out that nobody knows the answer, and that's always exciting too. But a lot of times, there are answers to things that I'm curious about, and it's scientists who figured them out. Someone named Barina has a question about scientists. Let's give her a call now.
Hi, Doug.
Hi, Barina.
I have a question for you. How do scientists know so much?
That's a great question. To answer this question, it might be helpful to think about what scientists do when they work. Let me tell you a story about two scientists whose discoveries changed the way people think about the world. You see this thing right here? You might know what it is. It's a telescope. And you know what a telescope is used for? To look up at the night sky. But it wasn't always used for that. In fact, when the telescope was first invented, one of the main ways people would use it was to watch for enemy ships coming from far away. No one had thought to point a telescope up at the sky. No one until this person. This was Galileo. He was a scientist. Galileo was curious and he wondered what he might see if he pointed the telescope up at the sky. One of the first things he decided to look at was the moon. Night after night, he looked at the moon through his telescope. He wrote notes, and he made drawings of what he saw. He was amazed by all the details that he noticed. You see, before Galileo, most people thought that the moon was this round, perfectly smooth ball, more like a beautiful nightlight rather than some actual place. But by carefully looking at the moon, Galileo noticed lots of pointy bumps and shadows. He compared his drawings to things that he noticed here on Earth, and he realized what he was seeing on the moon were mountains, valleys, and hills. The moon wasn't some perfectly smooth light. It was an actual place with mountains and hills, just like the Earth. Galileo realized maybe we could even go walk around on the moon someday. Galileo gave us new ideas about what the moon was really like. Now, here's another famous scientist. Her name was Mary Anning. She's known for being one of the greatest fossil hunters in all of history. Mary spent almost every day of her life, ever since she was a young girl, searching along the beach for interesting fossils. One day, there was a landslide. A huge piece of the cliff near the seashore had fallen down. Mary wondered, what if I go look over there? If I look carefully, will I find anything new? Digging through the rubble, Mary noticed some really strange markings in the rock. It was the fossil of a large skull with lots of sharp teeth. As she unearthed the entire fossil and put its bones together, Mary realized that it was the fossil of a giant reptile that had once lived in the ocean. This was unlike any creature alive today. It was an animal that had gone extinct. All her life, Mary kept looking carefully, finding more and more fossils of extinct animals. Mary Anning gave us new ideas about what animals on Earth had been like a long time ago. Mary Anning and Galileo were looking at very different things. But take a moment to think about what their stories have in common. What did both of these scientists do that was similar?